Hello and welcome to Dinosaw Week 10. So it's another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So let's crack on. The first one is the rise and rise of NFTs. I've spoken about these a few times over the last couple of weeks or months. So these are non-fungible tokens. So these are a way of buying art or anything really using the blockchain or recording on the blockchain. So it allows you to guarantee that you've sold it to somebody and they definitely own it. You can look it up. So it's a great way of giving people, a unique ownership of a piece of art, for instance. So we just saw that Nyan Cat, for instance, has been sold, and this 10-second animation you're seeing here sold for or resold for $6.6 million. So this is called Crossroads by Beeple. Was originally sold by the artist for $67,000, and the person who bought it recently resold it for $6.6 million. So nobody quite knows what's going on at the moment with NFTs, but it's very similar to the beginning of the Bitcoin market, where you could buy a Bitcoin for essentially pence and dollars, and now it's all gone silly prices. So is it going to be a bubble that's going to burst very quickly, or is it going to be something that builds and builds? Who knows? But if you haven't got your head around NFTs yet, it's definitely worth having a look at them. If you are an artist looking to sell your work, then NFTs might be an option. If you are an environmentalist, probably NFTs are definitely not the option at the moment. And I've seen quite a lot of sort of social media about people sort of saying this is great, but all of a sudden when I see a friend selling NFTs, all of a sudden I'm now judging them in a different way for destroying the planet. So we still haven't quite got to the bottom of NFTs yet, but people are making a huge amount of money. It's about sort of collection of art, really. Twitter undo feature, this might be coming. So this is a reverse engineer, which is Jan Wong, and she has found a feature in Twitter. This looks like it might be when you send a tweet, it's going to give you 5 seconds potentially to undo that tweet. So at the moment, if you send a tweet and then you think, actually I shouldn't have done that, or you quickly spot a typo, not quite sure how this is going to work, but it might do this kind of this progress bar thing. So it gives you 5 seconds. If I was a brand, I'm already thinking of things I could do with this. It's a little bit like Jeopardy. You could send out a tweet and then recall it right at the last minute, see what happens. But there's all sorts of things you can do with it. But it might be a feature coming to Twitter soon. Amazon Game On. So Amazon own Twitch, obviously a game streaming platform, and they are known for their long-form gaming, live streaming, etc., etc. And this is trying to hit the more sort of TikTok area of game streaming. So this is the clips from 5 to 30 seconds. The way this works is you download the app. It's a separate app. You go into the app. I don't think you can get this in the UK just yet, but you start the app. It records any game that it's allowed to record, so it doesn't work with everything, for instance. But what it'll do is when you're in the game, there will be a feature in the game, as you can see in the screenshot on the left-hand side. There will be a button that appears that allows you to very quickly start and stop game records from within the game. Once you've done that, you've maybe seen the clip that you want, or you've recorded the clip, you then exit your game, and it will therefore be in your local storage on your Game On app, where you can edit it and then send it out to social platforms. So there's just over 1,000 games available to it at the moment. So yeah, it's really interesting how they're embracing not only streaming game, but also taking it down to that sort of TikTok short form video level as well. So clearly everything is getting shorter, everything is getting more clipped, should we say. This is Teenage Blob. So this is a band, I think they're American. They are a punk pop band, Super Tweaks. So they wanted a novel way to release their new album, or EP. So I think there are 6 tracks. And what you do is you basically go and play some games. So there's basically you have to download the game. I think it's on Steam. And in playing each one of the 5 or 6 games, you can then listen to each one of the tracks and unlock them. And that's how you listen to the album. So if you're a game fan and a music fan, then this is for you. It's just really interesting, just a new novel way of releasing an entire album. Yeah, you probably will see NFT albums. In fact, I think there just has been one. So bands are, again, thinking of really interesting ways of releasing albums. The Emoji Foundation. So this is Unicode, who you may not know how this works, but almost like every character you type in a social app is actually referenced from a big Unicode font in the sky, and it's got hundreds of thousands of characters in it, and it goes all the languages, from Cyrillic to to Russian to English to everything, even ancient Sanskrits, and this is also where the emoji sit as well, and there's lots of symbols and things in there as well. So the Emoji Foundation, a little bit like Wikipedia, are saying, look, we need a little bit of help to keep funding this thing. So they are now allowing you to adopt an emoji. So the way this works is you hop over to the site, you find the emoji that is still available, if there is one that you want, for instance, and then you make a payment for it. So the ones you can see on the right hand side, I think, are all the gold level ones, and yes, unfortunately the poop emoji has gone, and the heart emoji is gone. So what you can really do is you just put your name to it. So it's a little bit like a sort of bench in the park, really. So or if you're old enough, you might remember the $1 million homepage, where you can dedicate a pixel from a 1,000 by 1,000 grid. So yeah, if you would want to do that, you might find there's something that a friend or a loved one or a brand or company that you work with might want to sponsor an emoji, and it's a good thing. There you go. So Project Wolverine, slightly strange name for it, and by the way, the screenshot here, nothing to do with Wolverine at all, it's just some hearing aids. But this is Alphabet's sort of moonshot program, and you might remember them for things like the Google Glass, for instance, which is probably one of their most public and humiliating failures. So I just thought that this was interesting, that a lot of companies are going for augmented body parts. We're looking at vision, night vision, we're looking at also, but when we talk about hearing, we'll usually talk about noise cancelling headphones and brilliant music, and Dolby and surround sound and things like that. So this is quite interesting. This is Project Wolverine, which is looking to use AI to interrogate sound so that the wearer can essentially have super hearing. So this is in sort of dinner party syndrome, which if you have anything wrong with your hearing, for instance, then it's very difficult to separate out the person you're talking to from the background noise. But likewise, if you just want to talk to somebody, then it just cuts out all the background noise. So this is not supposed to be at the moment something that is a hearing aid replacement, but it is genuinely, there's not a huge amount of details behind it, but they're looking at giving you and I superhuman hearing. I just thought it was interesting. What would you or I do with that? It's kind of interesting. And then finally, just when you've seen it all, and just when you've seen like all the damage that can be done for the planet, something new comes along. So this is what's called 5 Surprise. This is the 5 surprises. You get five surprises in the toy, and this is the mini brands edition. So the surprises you get inside these plastic, think Kinder Egg basically, those Kinder surprises, are exact miniatures or plastic miniatures of the brands that you and I will see going around supermarkets. So the way this works is what's called a blind bag, so you don't know what you're going to get, and therefore you might get duplicates, and therefore you might need to swap them, which is the whole part of the collectability thing. If they just gave you uniques, you would never need to tell your friends about them. That's how these work. So yeah, I mean, this is obviously, a lot of Dinosaurs is about advertising and brands, and how brands can find new areas. This one, the banal toys or the brands in here, you've got things like Q-tips, and hand cream and soy sauce and things like that, all have become collectibles, and they're super rares. You can get gold editions of them and all sorts of things. I have no idea how brands get involved in this, and I'm not really even sure you should, because you're just putting plastic into the world you don't really need. But it's really, really interesting. So this video alone has got 2.4 million views, and it's all blowing up on TikTok as well. So yeah, a new toy that you didn't even think existed, and you probably don't even need. But fascinating anyway. Just go and have a look at it, and it's horrifying. There you go. It's all about discovering new stuff. It's what I saw, and that's what I saw. So there you go. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.